The sun ascended softly, its rays warming the bamboo grove where disciples gathered around the serene figure of Buddha. Buddha held a robe dyed with the essence of earth. His hands gentle, his gaze profound yet compassionate. "Blessed One," Jaya began, his voice trembling, "I am lost in the weight of my unkept promises and weary heart." The Buddha looked at him with profound compassion, his gaze like still water reflecting the moon's serene glow. "Jaya," the Buddha said, his voice calm, "tell me of these promises that burden your mind and steal your peace." Jaya lowered his head, his hands trembling. "I promised my wife a new house, my children education, my neighbors my labor. Look at the lotus, its petals captivating, yet its roots humbly nestled in the nourishing mud beneath. The lotus teaches us that beauty born of purity remains untarnished, untouched by ego or worldly longing. As the lotus rises above mud, compassion transcends suffering's grip." The disciples nodded, their hearts stirring with recognition of the universal truth within the Buddha's simple yet profound metaphor. Even this humble robe, sewn without greed, becomes a tool to remind us of freedom from suffering and desire. A disciple spoke, "Master, should one abandon all adornments to truly embrace the path of enlightenment?" Buddha responded, his words serene, "Abandoning adornments is not the essence. Balance and mindfulness guide the wearer toward wisdom and liberation." Buddha held the robe high, its threads seeming to shimmer softly in the glow of sunlight. "The threads of this robe are not mere fibers, but metaphors for the interconnectedness of life and its lessons. The humble threads remind us to weave lives of integrity, compassion, and awareness with each decision we make." A moment of silence spread, the disciples reflecting on Buddha's teaching and their own attachments. A gentle breeze swept through the grove, carrying the scent of earth and bamboo toward the gathered disciples. Buddha added, "True adornment lies not in external displays, but within the heart nurtured by compassion and mindfulness. Each stitch carries intention, and each fold reminds us that inner beauty transcends outer appearances." The robe was passed among the disciples, each feeling the weight of its simplicity and profound meaning. Buddha said, "When you weave your lives with mindfulness, even the simplest garment becomes a canvas of spiritual depth." The grove resonated with their unity. In thought, each disciple now cherishing the robe's understated elegance. Disciples gathered leaves to dye cloth for their robes, blending nature's gifts with their own mindful efforts. Buddha offered guidance as they worked, ensuring their intentions aligned with the principles of detachment and sincerity. In their diligence, they found joy not in outcome but in each mindful movement of their hands and hearts. Buddha observed, "In every stitch, you discover an opportunity to be present, detached, and aware of life's fleeting nature." The disciples smiled, feeling content with the process rather than craving perfection or comparison with others. Through their shared efforts, the grove filled with both silence and the quiet harmony of mindful creativity. Ananda spoke again, "Master, can simplicity in garments alone bring enlightenment or guide us toward liberation?" Buddha's gaze softened. "Simplicity is one door to mindfulness, but liberation depends on consistent awareness across all facets of life." The disciples nodded, their understanding deepening, and their hearts resonating with the wisdom shared. Buddha continued, "True liberation arises from awareness imbued in everything: actions, thoughts, speech, and even your choice of garments. A robe may protect us from wind and rain, yet it must not shield us from truth and wisdom. As you walk the path of the Dharma," the Buddha concluded, "seek neither to hoard nor to scatter, but to harmonize." The sun began its descent, casting golden light across the gathering as silence settled, each heart filled with contemplation. Buddha turned to the disciples and said, "Watch the falling leaves. See them as mirrors to your own transience. Everything you wear, eat, and touch is temporary. Let them serve as reminders of life's impermanence. The disciples meditated on the leaves, the robes, and their personal attachments, feeling an awakening deep within. Buddha sat silently, his presence offering peace to all gathered. Even as words rested momentarily within each disciple, questions arose, but they met their minds with calm reflection and renewed humility. The robe, now dyed and completed, was admired but not envied, cherished yet not craved. Buddha gently spoke. This robe symbolizes neither poverty nor prosperity, but balance and the freedom that accompanies detachment. Let this be a reminder to live not in excess, nor deprivation, but harmony, always guided by wisdom. The grove hummed softly with the sound of life continuing, each disciple sensing the interconnectedness Buddha described. Buddha's teachings did not end with the robe but extended into their daily actions, shaping their lives and paths. Every step on their spiritual journey was now accompanied by the quiet yet profound lessons of simplicity. From that day onward, the disciples approached their lives with mindfulness sewn into each thought and intention. Buddha smiled at their transformations, content that his teachings resonated deeply and expanded their awareness. The grove, still bathed in morning light, became a timeless chapter in the disciples' collective pursuit of truth. So began their journey, their robes woven as reminders of the greater tapestry of mindful living. Another day, as the sun ascended, Buddha walked through a village where merchants displayed luxurious fabrics and gleaming adornments. The villagers gathered around Buddha, their faces marked by curiosity and their voices burdened with debates over wealth and clothing. A merchant approached and bowed, speaking, "Master, tell us, should a person's value be measured by the finery they wear?" Buddha observed the silken garments draped before him, their vivid colors glowing under the light of the morning sun. "True worth," Buddha began, "is not sewn into the folds of silk but found in the fabric of one's actions." He picked up a thread from a torn garment, its frayed ends fluttering softly in the gentle breeze. This single thread may appear fragile, yet when woven with others, it forms the strength to hold many burdens. The thread teaches us the lesson of interconnectedness, reminding us that together, we create something greater than ourselves. A woman in the crowd asked, "Master, does wealth corrupt the heart, or can it be used for the benefit of all?" Buddha turned his calm gaze toward her and replied, "Wealth itself carries no virtue or vice. Intention determines its impact on the heart. When wealth becomes a tool for compassion, it builds bridges of kindness. When hoarded, it builds walls of isolation. Consider a robe. When shared, it provides warmth to many. When possessed alone, it serves only the ego." The crowd murmured with understanding, their earlier discord now softened by Buddha's clear and thoughtful teachings. Buddha stepped toward the village weaver and spoke, "Your craft holds wisdom. Every thread joins with purpose and precision. Let this remind us that the essence of life is also woven from moments of intention and awareness." The weaver bowed deeply, saying, "Master, how can my craft serve the path of enlightenment and not bind me to worldly attachments?" Buddha smiled gently and answered, "Let your weaving be an act of mindfulness, each motion a prayer, and each thread a symbol, in awareness. Even mundane tasks transcend worldly attachments, transforming into steps toward liberation and harmony." The sun sank lower, casting warm light through the forest as silence settled over the group. Each heart touched by wisdom, Samudra departed, his burdens lighter, his steps steady, carrying the Buddha's teachings as a guiding star for his journey. Buddha, overhearing, said to the boy, "You have spoken a profound truth. For kindness weaves humanity's greatest garment, compassion." The villagers smiled warmly, their hearts touched by the simplicity and depth of the child's observation and Buddha's Acknowledgement. A villager asked, Master, should we abandon luxurious garments to seek the truth? Or can simplicity guide us while living among riches? Buddha replied, abandonment is not the solution. Mindfulness in every choice fosters balance between need and excess. The silks before you, though luxurious, are not sinful unless they foster division or bind you with greed. The true richness lies in the intention behind the fabric, not in its texture or price. The merchant, humbled, vowed to use his wealth to support the needy and to ensure fairness in his trade. Buddha said, generosity purifies wealth, just as mindfulness purifies thoughts. Both turn burdens into opportunities for enlightenment. The villagers discussed among themselves, their perspectives shifting from envy to understanding, from division to shared purpose. Buddha gestured toward the banyan tree, saying, even the banyan begins as a seed, yet grows to provide shade for many. Let wealth, like the banyan, grow not in shadowing greed but in sheltering compassion for all who seek refuge. The crowd sat beneath the banyan, their earlier disputes dissolving into serene contemplation of Buddha's wisdom. Buddha spoke again. The robes you wear are transient, like your thoughts and desires. Let them not obscure your eternal essence. Adornment is not the issue. Attachment to adornment binds you. Release attachment, and freedom follows naturally. The merchant distributed fabric among the villagers, saying, let these robes remind us of unity, not division, compassion, not arrogance. Buddha nodded approvingly, saying, this act turns fabric into a symbol of shared humanity, weaving threads of kindness into the world. The villagers departed to their homes, carrying not just the fabric but also the profound teachings shared that day. The merchant approached Buddha and asked, Master, can my trade still align with your teachings if I continue to sell silks? Buddha replied, sell not with greed but with service. Let your trade benefit the many, not just the few. The merchant bowed deeply, realizing his role could transform into a path of ethical practice and mindful living. A breeze rustled through the village, carrying with it the faint scent of flowers and the whispers of enlightenment. Buddha turned to his disciples and said, observe how the wind touches all without bias. So too must your compassion flow. Fashion, like the wind, must uplift and unite, not segregate or suppress, teaching humility through its transient existence. The disciples meditated on these words, their thoughts expanding to encompass both the material and the spiritual dimensions. The threads in their robes no longer appeared mundane but shimmering with the lessons of interconnectedness and shared purpose. A young disciple said, Master, in this moment, I see not threads but the teachings woven into the fabric of life. Buddha smiled, his eyes reflecting infinite understanding, and replied, you see clearly, for wisdom is the thread binding all truth. The banyan tree stood witness to this moment, its branches sheltering those who sought the wisdom beneath its shade. Like the trees, the Buddha explained, your commitments must align with your purpose, guided by mindful intention and inner clarity. When we act without discernment, the Buddha said, we scatter our energy, leaving no strength for ourselves or for lasting support to others. Buddha said, the fabric of society is strengthened not by wealth but by the intention to serve and uplift each other. Threads of greed unravel, while threads of kindness bind generations, weaving a timeless tapestry of harmony and peace. The Buddha smiled, his presence radiating warmth, his teachings filling the hearts of all gathered with serenity and renewed purpose. The lesson is for all, the Buddha said, addressing his disciples, to live like the lotus, like the lake, like the steady trees. Buddha's journey through the village left an indelible mark, transforming commerce into a path of ethical awareness. The villagers waved as he departed, their eyes reflecting the calm and clarity only his teachings could inspire. The sun dipped lower, casting golden light over the gathering as silence settled, each heart touched by the Buddha's words. Megha departed, her steps lighter, her spirit renewed, carrying the Buddha's teachings as a treasure guiding her journey forward. Another day, as the rain softly drummed upon the rooftops, a young seamstress approached Buddha with reverence and hesitation. The seamstress knelt before Buddha, her hands trembling, as she held out a bundle of robes crafted with meticulous care. "Master," she began, her voice low, "I fear my attachment to my craft binds me to the material world." Buddha's serene gaze fell upon her, his presence radiating understanding and kindness that eased her trembling heart. He took a robe from her hands and examined it, the intricate stitches reflecting her unwavering dedication and skill. "Child," Buddha began, his voice steady and warm, "attachment arises not from the craft itself but from the yearning within. Each thread you stitch holds the power to connect your actions to the greater purpose of mindful and compassionate living. Consider this robe. It serves not only as clothing but as a silent teacher of humility and simplicity." The disciples felt the profundity of his words settle within them. Quiet yet alive, like seeds planted in fertile soil, the Buddha gestured to the path they had climbed. Rugged yet steadfast, each step leading them higher toward clarity and insight. The rain softened into a quiet drizzle, the sound soothing, as if amplifying the serene atmosphere in the room. Buddha gestured toward a nearby needle and thread, picking them up with a steady, deliberate motion. "This needle," he said, holding it aloft, "guides the thread just as mindfulness guides our thoughts and intentions. As the needle pierces the fabric, so too must we pierce the veil of illusion to find the eternal truth. Each stitch binds the fabric together. In the same way, our actions weave the tapestry of our lives." The seamstress's eyes glimmered with understanding, her troubled expression transforming into one of curiosity and quiet hope. "It is not bound by place or situation. It grows where the heart is ready. Let each stitch be a meditation, each garment a vessel for compassion and harmony. When you create without craving, your craft becomes not a shackle but a tool of liberation for yourself and others." The seamstress reflected on his words, her mind envisioning each stitch as an act of devotion, each robe as a prayer. Buddha spoke again, "Do not seek perfection, seek presence." The disciples felt the strength of the mountain resonate within them, its lessons embedded in their hearts. Quiet yet transformative, the Buddha added, "As the mountain stands, so must you." A disciple asked, "Master, can beauty and art coexist with the path of detachment, or must one sacrifice them for enlightenment?" Buddha turned to the disciple, his gaze serene, and replied, "Beauty arises naturally when one lives in harmony with truth and awareness. Art born of mindfulness transcends attachment, offering not indulgence but inspiration to those who encounter it. Consider the lotus. Its beauty uplifts the spirit, yet it remains grounded, untainted by the waters from which it emerges." The seamstress felt her heart lighten, as though the rain outside had washed away her doubts and fears. She spoke, her voice steadier now, "Master, I will weave my garments with intention, allowing each stitch to serve as a meditation." Buddha nodded, his calm expression affirming her resolve. As the room filled with a quiet, shared understanding, "Remember, child," he said, "the garments you create may fade, but the mindfulness you cultivate will illuminate your path forever." The seamstress bowed deeply, her heart brimming with gratitude and newfound purpose, as if she had been unburdened. Another disciple approached and asked, "Master, can clothing itself become a lesson, a means to remind us of impermanence and the middle way?" Buddha smiled and replied, "Yes, even robes bear teachings. Their fragility reminds us of impermanence." Their utility points us to balance. Clothing shields us from nature's elements. Yet it must not shield us from truth or the wisdom of interconnectedness. Buddha gestured toward the rain, saying, "See how the raindrops blend into the earth, becoming one with what sustains life itself. In the same way, let your craft blend intention with awareness, creating harmony rather than separation within your heart." The disciples meditated on these words, their thoughts drifting like the rain, nourishing the soil of their understanding. Buddha turned once more to the seamstress and said, "Your hands craft robes, but your heart weaves meaning into the lives they touch. Let your robes carry the message of simplicity, compassion, and the interconnected beauty of existence for all who wear them." The seamstress departed, her steps lighter, her mind quieter, and her purpose clearer than ever before. Her needles and threads became tools of mindfulness, each stitch a moment of presence, each robe a silent expression of truth. Over time, the monastery became known for the robes that carried not just beauty but the profound teachings of the Buddha. Visitors marveled not only at the garments but also at the harmony and clarity that radiated from those who wore them. No being is separate from the web of life. Ananda's voice carried thoughtfulness as he asked, "Master, does the river's flow represent destiny? Are its waters bound to follow one inevitable path?" The Buddha smiled. The disciples continued their practices. Each garment they wore now a reminder of the teachings woven into their lives. Buddha, watching over them, felt content that his message had taken root and flourished in the hearts of those around him. The seamstress's journey, like the needle's path, pierced through doubt and illusion, emerging into a fabric of understanding and peace. The rain-soaked earth bore witness to transformation, as the grove echoed with the silent harmony of mindful existence. The story of the seamstress spread, inspiring others to view their own crafts as opportunities for mindfulness and compassionate action. Buddha's voice, like the thread in a robe, connected minds and hearts, teaching balance, purpose, and unity with every word. The teachings continued, each day a new thread, each disciple a strand, as the tapestry of wisdom expanded endlessly. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.